again. So today we have with us Ruth Baize, who is a member for the Evansville Vanderburgh School Board. And talking with her today is Tara Barney, the President and CEO of the Southwestern Indiana Chamber. And Tara, I'll be happy to turn it over to you at this point.
Thanks, Sally. And thanks for being with us today, Ruth. I know it's a different year than all others, as they say, but we sure appreciate you being willing to serve the community, and just wanted to have a brief conversation today with you so we can be sure we have a chance to get your priorities and your interests out to our many constituents. So I want to start off with the question that you, of course, are expecting, and that is, you know, with the budget tightening that's coming for school boards and has been coming for years in the case of EVSC, what are your priorities that you really want to make sure are protected, and what sort of areas do you think we can give in a little if we have to?
I think that we should protect teacher salaries. I mean, they do the work. Let's give it to them. What I see is a top-heavy downtown, and the administration. I think we can cut there if we had to. And also, don't start any new programs. And you don't have to pay the consultants that come in for that. And you don't have to pay for the materials for that then. Let's make do with what we got and go.
All right, well, that's simple and good to understand. I've been in town for a couple years now, and I've really heard loud and clear from so many different constituencies that we have to continue to build our educational attainment, not just for our businesses, but for all of our citizens. And so increasing high school graduation rates and moving our students on to some kind of credential beyond high school seem like useful regional goals. Are there things you would rewrite or change in the programs that, that you're familiar with now that would help us to work toward these goals?
Okay, I would like to see more of the RAMP program that the EVSC has, where their business and the EVSC work together, and encourage the students into that. And I'd also like to see more trade school emphasis. We are lacking trade schools, and everybody thinks college is the end degree, and yet only a small percentage graduates from college. And I do advocate college. I mean, that's good. But also, not everybody is meant to be in the college era. And so they would want to maybe go to a trade school, but they need training for something. And so they just don't go out with just a certificate of graduation.
Well, I think that's very much what we're seeing too. So thanks for that perspective.
Good.
One of the things that I've also heard a lot about is how important it is to help our region move more citizens out of poverty, and to help them be able to be more self-sustaining. And you know better than most that EVSC has become a very significant provider of social services. Are there changes you would like to see in how these programs are delivered that would help families and individual students to participate in establishing more of a sustainable path? Are there things that we could do better?
Yes, I think we can emphasize with the parents education. The parents are the key, and we've got to get them to emphasize to their students, their children, the importance of education. Most of the people I know that have succeeded have said that, well, their parents, it was just always an emphasis in their homes for education. But what we have today is a lot of drugs and alcoholism among some of the parents. And I would venture to say, but I don't have the statistics, so I hesitate to. I would venture to say that that many of our poverty people have the drugs and alcohol in their background. And I would suggest that we look at that more. I do not like the SEL, social emotional learning, because it does take away from the parents' place of teaching the children. So we're in a kind of a catch-22. We're never going to solve poverty. It will always be with us. It's been there since the first day. But we try to do what we can as educators to get them. I worked most of my career at-risk schools in New York and Evansville. So, I mean, I know what I'm talking about on some of these things. There's abuse, there's unhappiness. People didn't get their education. Therefore, they don't see the importance of their kids getting education. It's called a campaign, a public PR campaign, public relations.
Are there things we as a community could do to be more helpful with that? Because that does seem like the big challenge that you just described.
I think if you get these kids to succeed, like that RAMP program, I think that might start changing perceptions. Yeah. They don't have to have just a high school education. There's a purpose out there for them. We want to stress, what is your purpose? And we need to really hit that with our students from little on up. Please don't wait till high school. They're ready to drop out then. So what you want to do is by 4th and 5th grade, hit the children with, what are you going to do? How are you going to make it there? What is it going to take for you to get there? And put that responsibility on them. It is their parents, yes, because they should reinforce it at home, which I had said previously. However, it is also their responsibility. Are you doing something? I used to stand my kids up on a chair and I'd say, because I had smaller ones, like 4th and 5th graders and down. And I'd say, now here you are right now. And I'd point to their ankle. And I'd say, there's where you are now. Here's the rest of your life. And we would talk about how are you going to get there? What you do down here at your ankle reflects what's going to happen to you when you're 40, 50, 60 on up. So make your decisions wisely. And that is one thing I'd really be hitting the kids at 4th and 5th easily, those grades.
Well, that is a great example. I like it.
Thank you.
I'll be using it with my little constituents.
Okay.
So do you have a particular priority or an issue that you really want to champion in this upcoming term that we haven't talked about? I want to make sure that we get it out there.
I have several things. I would like to educate, not indoctrinate. I think we're getting into too many social issues where that is the place of social workers. Teachers are not trained for that. Then I think we should let the teachers teach. Instead, we have the teachers making extensive lesson plans. And they're having to deal with PBIS, which is, you do lots of paperwork with that.
I don't know what that is. Help me out. What's PBIS?
PBIS is the discipline system they use.
Gotcha. Okay.
Behavioral,
yeah,
and so on.
I got it.
I can't remember all the acronyms.
All right.
Okay, but PBIS is the discipline program, and what you have to do is you got to write up a student like 4 times before you can send them, excuse me, to the office, or unless they do something very detrimental, immediately you can send them. But what we're finding, the teachers have told me, is they're being sent back after 1 period with a piece of candy, which there are some kids that go a couple times a day to the office. And it just appears to the teachers, they have no control. And also, more importantly, while these students are disrupting the class, you've got 20 to 30 other students who cannot have an education. But we are told to put the kids in the least restrictive environment, well, which is the classroom. So they disrupt. I had one student who tipped his desk over every single day. And if I ignored him, he would start throwing the books at the kids. And so here we had 20 some odd children not getting an education because of him. That person should have been taken to another area and worked with. not worked on, worked
Yeah.
with. And, you know, with your social worker and, or whatever, but take them out of the classroom so the other kids can get their education.
I was going to ask that question. You answered it before I asked it, so that's helpful. So we've gone through a very unanticipated year, and EVSC, like every school district, has had to make some very complicated adjustments. Are there lessons learned or concerns you've seen from the way we're approaching this, or insight you have on things that we should do more of that have come out of the adjustments we've had to make over this past year?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that there's going to be a generation of children who have not seen a smile. And if you think about that, I used to smile all the time at my kids. And then my principal said to me one time, she said, that may be the only smile they see that day. And with the mask, we can't do that. So I just want to tag that in there. But I was a learning coach for a student, a second grader, for 3 weeks until he was able to get into a school. And I think they're not beefed up enough. If they're going to do the option of virtual academy, it needs to be beefed up and leave the SEL lesson out. That just takes 27 more minutes of a teacher's time. And that's all the teacher has. And they're just frazzled with the amount of pressure on them and stress on what they have to get done. But I would say beef up the video, the virtual academy. But I do like that we in the EVSC have a choice. They can come to class, concrete walls, or they can go video. And I like both of those.
I think that is great. I saw some communication just this morning about how virtual classrooms are going to challenge the brick and mortar classrooms for quality of content, because they'll be able to share the very best lessons over video, which is going to be interesting to think about going forward.
Yes, but I've also seen the students after the first week or so kind of get tired of the video.
I think that's probably very true, especially with younger kids, I'm guessing. Yeah.
They have to have interaction with people. I mean, it's so antisocial. And yet we try to make it like we're talking right here. But it's still not the same as being right there and seeing and touching and just being able to speak to them and see them smile.
Well, we sure appreciate spending some time with you. Is there any last thought you want to make sure that we get out to folks?
Vote for Ruth Baize for school board.
That would seem like the logical final comment. Well, thank you for being with us. Thanks for all your work in managing the technology, but we got it done, and we sure appreciate talking with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.